Visual Job Scheduler, and so change from production to job and resource planning. Again, this was what we announced would be in version 1 and what would come later. We delivered version 1 as announced at the end of June. It's now in app source, and after that we already provided the July version where we got the recertification in app source, where we added the capability to define links, and also, and this is new compared to the old products, also link types. So in the past we only could work with and start links, but now we also can facilitate start links, and we also have some very simple rescheduling mechanism in there that you can schedule from any point in a sequence of links, can schedule all the successors with no buffer time. So this is actually something we shipped at the end of July, and which you will find in the product when you download it from app source or downloaded it from our partner portal. And then with the August update, which again has been finished already, we implemented a logic or mechanism to distribute the job planning line quantity. We take weekends into account when rescheduling, when there are links. This is also something we didn't have in the .NET version, and we enhanced the context menu a bit. And again, let's have a look what these very few bullets actually mean for the Visual Job Scheduler. So back to Business Central. And then from the Visual Production Scheduler to the Visual Job Scheduler. And I'm starting in the job view. Where I see all my jobs, and I have this very wonderful, simple sample job for this webinar with a job task that consists of 4 steps and then another 5th steps. And so this is the job. Just for your, as a reminder, these are the job tasks. Then we got the job planning lines, and on the job planning lines, we got the resource allocation. So now we see, okay, this is allocated to Steve. This should be done by Alan, and so on. So let me just quickly open all of these lines, and we see right now they just sit there as they are, and we just see that there seems to be a sequence to it. And also what we see is that every job planning line here spans an entire day, and the figure indicates the job planning line quantity. So basically it says that we need Steve Johnson on the 15th of February for 4 hours, and here it says we need David Butler 16 hours on that day. This is how NAV, our Business Central, lets you enter data, and so we just reflect this and show this. And then when an entire job task is moved, then of course you can grab it here and then move the entire thing, and then all job planning lines are moved with it. Hello, yeah, and this is also in the back direction. But of course, what standard Business Central does not have, standard Business Central does not have any kind of dependency between job planning lines. So if this is the predecessor to this, and if this and this should start at the same point of time, or if this should not start later than this, then we cannot reflect this here. So if I move this, then this has no impact here. And this is where the enhancement that we did in July comes in play. So what I can say on a right mouse click here, on a right mouse click, I can say start new link creation. And then I can go to the link target and I can say end link creation, and then I get asked, hey, is this finish start or start? So I say, okay, this is finish start, so this needs to be finished before this starts. Then I say, hey, there is a new link from here to here. And in this I say start, so that means this one here should start not before the start of this, but should start either at the same point of time or afterwards. And then you can say, okay, when this is done here, then this one can start, and same here. When this is done, then, and the good news is actually that if you build job templates, so if you build some templates for your customers, if they have repeating job structures, then you need to do it once, and then whenever you copy a job, then we also copy the links that are defined within this job. So now I built a link structure, and now we take this into account when I move it. So when the first job planning line is moved a bit, then we take this into account and we move it according to this predecessors. If this one is moved, or if this one is moved, then we leave this where it was, but move out all these successors. So this one should start at the same date, and then this as a predecessor, as a successor, and this again. If we move this, then all predecessors are left as they are, but the successors are moved. So now if I say, hey, actually, and then again, you get the principle. If I move this, then the successor is moved out. Now, if I say, hey, actually, from here on, I want to schedule it with no gaps in between, then on a right mouse click, I can say schedule successors, and then all successors are moved so that the link structure is taken into account with no buffer time. And if I want to start it from here, I do it here again, and I schedule successors, and then I'm getting back to my old structure. But you see that when it is like this, it also can happen that the job planning line kind of still sits on a weekend. So now let's say schedule successors, and now actually let me save this so that when I make some changes, that I still have my wonderful links. So now this was part, so all these links, and of course, in the resource view, you also see the links. So now this job is still selected. So now you see, okay, we start here at Steve, then we have Alan and David working on this in parallel. We have Paul, and then we have Joe working on this. But we also see that when we look, for example, at David Butler, this 16 hours on the 17th of February kind of indicate that there seems to be an overload on that day, because he only has a capacity of 8 hours a day. And this is now, so far, this was what came with the July update. So now with the August update, we also actually implemented the feature that you as a customer, or you as a partner for your customer, can decide if you want to show the data as they are in NAV, or if you want to recalculate the length of these bars for the job planning line based on taking into account the quantity of the job planning line and the capacity. So if this says this is 16 hours that we need David on the 17th of February, and he only has an 8-hour day, then you could also say, okay, he will need 2 days to complete this work that takes 16 hours and starts on the 17th. And this actually is, and this is a new concept, a setting that you can make not on a user level, but on a company level. So if I type in VJS here, I come to a company settings page, and here I can make one setting, then I can say calculate job planning line duration. And this does what I just described. So if you have a 16 hours job planning line and the resource has an 8-hour a day calendar, then it will take 2 days to complete it. If you have a 16 hours job planning line and the resource is a half-time worker, it has a 4 hours a day calendar, then it will take 4 hours to get this complete. So I can switch this on here, leave this, and then I quickly need to reload the data because now I have new information. And now you see my picture should and will look a little bit different. So I have these 4 hours. This creates no issues. I have these 8 hours. For Alan creates no issues, but I have David Butler, who now where we distributed the 16 hours on 2 days, on the 17th and 18th. But we still have the start date of this task, which now is 20 hours, which is 8 hours that day, 8 hours that day. And then I said we take into account, when we switch this on, we take into account the calendar. So it's 0 hours here, 0 hours here, and 4 hours here. Let's look at this from the histogram. 8 hours, 8 hours, 4 hours. And then we had the original start date for this, which was the 19th. And we keep this here. And the 16 hours are 16 hours here, 8 hours here, and 8 hours here. And so now you see that also some of these links turn red because we have a sequence violation here. The good thing is we have right mouse click the scheduled successors feature, and with this we can clean this up. So now this 20 hours starts after the completion of the 16 hours. So we have 8 hours here, nothing on the weekend, 8 hours here, 4 hours here. And then we get to the next task and have these 16 hours here. And of course now, but this is still, sorry, too fast. Something that now we need to figure out. Okay, we have an overlap here because we need Joe for that 2 tasks, but if Reese has some free capacity, we can move this to free up some time here. Yeah, now it's there. So this is something that we built with the August release, that we get this distribution here, but also with the distribution of the job planning line according to taking into account the quantity and the capacity per day. That we take this into account when painting these bars, but we also take this into account when moving stuff around, and then we also take into account the calendar. So if I move this now here, whatever, to sit here, then to sit, sorry, now it will make this longer and move this here. So we take into account the non-work time and the work time once this option is switched on. And so now this is what we built for the Visual Job Scheduler with the July and the August version. And now let's quickly look what's next, and then I will come to your questions. So now we kind of won't do an end of September version. So we did a version in end of July, we did a version end of August. We skip end of September, but move this to early October. So we will provide and come with new version of the products to Directions EMEA, which is in the second week of October in Vienna. With the Visual Production Scheduler, we have the capability to save multiple data filters. We work on the view filters. We will work on showing the due date in the capacity view. We want to have a function where we quickly can jump from one view into the other view. So you are in the production order view, you select the production order, and then you say show in capacity view, and then it opens the capacity view and scrolls to that production order and highlights it. And we want to introduce a new vertical date line, which is the last update time line. So a line that tells you when you last updated data with the reload button. So when was the time when you fetched the latest the data from Business Central. With the Visual Job Scheduler, we work on the function to split job planning lines, which is a very popular feature in our .NET version. We will take what we built for data filters on the VPAs and bring to the VJS. We actually, and I'm kind of happy that we decided to do this. We play around right now with the Business Central notifications. So what we want to do is actually that, for example, when you move a job planning line past the finish date of the job, that you also get a notification, or when you move something that creates a resource overload, that you get a notification, making use of the Business Central notification framework, so that the user get a standard Business Central alert that he can react to in the VPS, or where you can just say, okay, thanks, please ignore. And for both products, I have this in brackets. If we have time at the end, we will also make work on a function to customize the tooltips This is nothing I would want to commit right now, but the rest is what we are working on right now, and where we have kind of, well, a full commitment to get this done until Directions EMEA. I would like to thank you very much for being my guest today. And even though you were on mute right now, I'm really happy to communicate with you guys. I'm really happy to collaborate with you guys. So if you come to Directions EMEA, please make sure you meet me or to meet one of my team members. Come to our booth number S16, or grab me in the hallway, grab me during coffee break, grab me at the bar in one of the evening events. I'm a German person, so most likely I will be drinking beer. I'm happy to have a beer with you. Send me an email or connect with me on LinkedIn, on Twitter. So I'm really happy to engage. And as I said, I'm kind of the management person at NETRONIC that drives the NAV and Business Central engagement. And so in the end, what I'm driving here will be only successful if you're successful. So me and my team here, we are committed to make you successful. So thanks again, and all have a great day, and we will send out a link to recording very soon. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye, and see you all in Vienna at Directions.